Good day, students. Today we will be doing a revision lesson on Grade 2 Social Studies. And this would be our third revision lesson for this series and for this term, working our way to the end of the academic year for Grade 2. With that said, specifically today, we will have an open book test in the form of revision. And then you will require your social studies student book to complete the test. I, the teacher, will ask you a question, which in turn you will look up the answer in your student book. The questions will be set and the answers will be on the pages provided for you. So once again, we're going to have an open book test for our revision, and we will be busy on page 81 and 82 again today. So page 81 and 82, it actually starts on page 80. And if we can turn to page 80 now, Social Studies Grade 2 Student Book. I will start reading on page 80 through to 81 and then to 82. And that is what the questions will be based on for our revision lesson. So I would start. It's basically about the achievements of the early people today, and specifically the Sumerians and the parts of Mesopotamia that they used to cultivate crops and using the landscape to make the most of their living, and the way they used to um, develop writing and also make a good living for themselves. So the achievements of early people. The world's first cities began in Mesopotamia between the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers. Um, During the Bronze Age, the flat area between these rivers had fertile soil for farming, and today these areas are called Iraq. So that is just old Mesopotamia, which is called Iraq now. And then there's a picture that shows the ancient city of Mesopotamia, which looks in that time of the Bronze Age, looks to be very, very developed. Then there's a pictogram and a cuneiform, which is like tablets, stone tablets that they used to do their writing on. And the Sumerians lived in the south of Mesopotamia. The Sumerians invented writing. The first writing was made up of pictures and signs called pictograms. Then gradually these pictograms were simplified into set of wedge-shaped symbols. So that would make it much easier. Instead of having to draw an entire picture for everything that you want to say, you developed symbols that represented these things, these pictures and these objects and so on. So gradually these pictograms were simplified into a set of wedge-shaped symbols called cuneiform. Scribes helped kings write down laws and record information. They used a tool called the stylus to make wedge shaped marks on wet clay tablets. So it was clay tablets and it was wet, so they could make their markings in it, like carving or engraving. Then the signs changed over time. The signs for the palm tree gradually changed over time. As you can see, there's a big palm tree in the beginning, and then it changed into a different type of symbol there. Then going on to page 82, that we will also need for our open book test. Sumerians invented many other things. So and one of these inventions were they built reservoirs to store water and to create irrigation channels to water their crops. And then another thing, they were the first people to use the wheel, which was very important, and still we use the wheel today, which is also still very important in modern day. They made carts from for trading and for farming, and they developed a counting system based on the number 60, which is very important. And then the royal game of was a popular board game, and this was also very good in social developing and so on. They designed a sailboat to help catch more fish. So a sailboat was also very important in terms of transport, in terms of catching fish to eat and so on. And obviously very important, I think, is the wheel that they developed, which is still a very pivotal tool that we use in modern days. So going back to our open book test, now PowerPoint slide, we're going into the questions. So this would then mean I'm going to run through the questions for us first, and then I will be going through the answer keys. Our first question will be question 1. We will find on page 81. We will read together and find the answers there. So the Sumerians invented invented writing. The first writing was made up of pictures, pictures and signs called what? Pictograms. Then, actually, I should be asking the questions first. I think let's go there instead of having to. I think it's this one. Yeah, there we go. This is just the questions, and then we'll go into the answers. So our first question would then be: the Sumerians invented writing. The first writing was made up of pictures and signs called what? Then question 2: the Sumerians were the first to invent what? There's a clue there as the man is busy working on that. Question 3: they invented a counting system based on the number what? That is on page 86. Then, not 86, page 82, I beg your pardon. Then, page 82 once more. What was the popular royal board game called? That is question number 4. You can find that on page 82. Another question from page 82. What did they design in order for them to catch more fish? That is very easy. There's a picture there on your screen. Then question 6, also based on page 82. Name 2 things they built to store water and to water their crops. So what did they store water? 2 things they built to store water and water their crops. That is then question number 1 to question number 6 for this revision lesson, and then going straight into our answer keys, so that we can have the answers to these questions, as this is only a recording. Question 1. The Sumerians invented writing. The first writing was made up of pictures and signs called pictograms, is that answer. You'll find on page 81. Just as proof, where did we find this answer? That is on page 81. Let's go to page 81 together. Right. Here it is. The first writing was made up of pictures and signs called pictograms. That is found in the 3rd line on page 81. Our next question, question 2. The Sumerians were the first to invent the wheel. The wheel we'll also find on the same page there on page 81. Let's look for that. Actually, that is on page 82 to be more specific. There it is. They were the first people to use the wheel. So it's not on page 81, but on page 82. Then another one on page 82, question 3. They invented a counting system based on the number 60. We will also find on page 82. There we go. The 3rd point. They developed a counting system based on the number 60. Question 4. What was the popular board game called? It was called There we'll also find it in our book on page 82. That is point number 1, 2, 3, number 4. The royal game of was a popular board game. Our next question. The answer, number 5. What did they design in order for them to catch more fish? The sailboats. So sailboats were very important for them to catch more fish and to eat, etc. Right, going to show you where I found that answer. Oh, here we go. They designed a sailboat. That's point number 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, they designed a sailboat to help them catch more fish. And that was the answer we found on page 82. With that said, going into the last question, question 6. Name 2 things they built to store water and water their crops. It's the reservoirs and irrigation channels that they built to make things much easier for them to cultivate their crops. And that we will also find on page 82 in our grade 2 social studies student books, they built reservoirs to store water and created irrigation channels, and that is the two things that we want there. So in terms of revision, that is our lesson for today, and I hope that you have a wonderful day further. Thank you.